Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today I'm going to be going over my picks for the top 10 most disappointing vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now a lot of these vehicles I thought were going to be really good, and they turned out to be disappointing in one way or another. Some of them are a lot worse than others, some of them just make absolutely no sense and are very frustrating to deal with, and especially at the prices that some of them cost. Leave a like on the video if you guys enjoy, dislike if you don't, subscribe if you're new. Let's go ahead and get started. Now at number 10, I've done the oldest, most disappointing vehicle in GTA Online, and it is of course the Rhino tank. This thing goes for $1.5 million, and it's a Pegasus vehicle, which automatically makes it a little bit annoying because you got to call Pegasus to get it and go to one of their pickup locations. And then you get in it and you run over one car or you shoot one car. The cops come after you, you shoot another police car, and about 3 minutes later you're dead because this thing has absolutely no armor. It's quite pathetic. For being a main battle tank, like, this thing should be able to take a lot more abuse. This thing and the Kanjali are both pretty weak for what they are. Going on a simple 5-minute cop chase will pretty much render both of the vehicles destroyed, although the Rhino tank will die a lot faster because it has absolutely no armor. This thing is so pathetic. The Rhino tank is just a huge disappointment. It always has been in GTA Online. I always wish that we would have got a Mark II variant that we could store in the facility or something like that, that we could upgrade the armor on, maybe upgrade the gun, do a few cosmetic changes, stuff like that. And maybe one day we'll get it. I keep my fingers crossed, but it has been 10 years, so I feel like it's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. That's it for number 10 with the Rhino tank. Let's talk about number 9. Next up, number 9, I have selected the Coil Brawler, coming in at $715,000, and it's actually available within the LS car meet when you guys are seeing this video, although I do not recommend buying it because it is a huge disappointment. It looks like an absolutely awesome off-road vehicle, but unfortunately the reality is that this thing completely sucks. It's rear-wheel drive instead of all-wheel drive, which automatically makes it a lot worse off-road, especially for rock crawling and going up steep hills and stuff like that. It's got a decent amount of ground clearance, and it is actually relatively impressive for being rear-wheel drive, but it still kind of sucks as an off-road vehicle. And then the absolute worst part about the Coil Brawler, out of all the reasons, are the brakes. The brakes on this vehicle might be the worst in the entire game. In the gameplay here in the background, you'll see me going at a relatively quick speed, maybe around 100 miles an hour, and I brake, and this vehicle probably takes 30 car lengths to come to a complete stop. It is absolutely abysmal braking performance. It is terrible, and that is the worst thing about the Coil Brawler. It's not that fast either, which, I mean, not that you'd expect it to be. It is a big off-road, sort of class vehicle. But when you consider that it can't even stop itself properly without you just getting into a crash, you start to realize just how shit the Coil Brawler really is. That's it for the Brawler at number 9. Let's talk about number 8. Now, before somebody says skill issue, bro, just understand that 90% of people think that this thing is trash, and this is of course the Fister Comet S2. Coming in at $1.4 million to about $1.9 million if you don't have the trade price unlocked. The Fister Comet S2, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the look of this car. I love the straight line performance. It's supposed to be based off of a Porsche 911, which is one of the best handling sports cars that money can buy today, and honestly for the last 50 years. And somehow Rockstar has made it so that this thing is garbage, bro. It's terrible. It feels like it has no downforce, and in fact I think the downforce is actually broken on this vehicle. But even if it wasn't, I feel like if this thing did have downforce, it would still handle like trash. This thing really feels like a 911 that isn't a 911. It feels like a car that has the engine suspended over the rear wheels, but it doesn't work, which most cars that would try it wouldn't work because they're not a Porsche 911. But this thing is hot garbage. It doesn't matter what you do. You can put a neon kit on it, you can put a big spoiler on it, a little spoiler. You can do as much as you possibly can think of to try to make this thing handle good, and it will not. It will always spin out on any corner. It doesn't matter how shallow the corner is, how sharp the corner is. Just expect that rear end of this car to come swinging out, and it's going to be really uncontrollable. It's such a huge disappointment because I want to love this car. I would probably drive this car every single day in GTA, but the handling stops me because it's just trash. The straight line performance is great, but the handling is just so garbage, bro. It's just such a shame. It really is. Next up at number 7, we have the Cheval Taipan coming in at $1,980,000. The Taipan is just garbage, bro. This thing has engine resistance. Is one of those cars from that DLC that has engine resistance. I think it was the After Hours DLC, if I'm not mistaken. It also has pretty trash-ass customization. It's not that good looking. And why is it so big, bro? What the hell? This thing is massive. It's massive, bro. And it's not even the most massive supercar. There's another one coming up, and you probably already know what I'm talking about. But this thing goes for just under 2 mil. And it's trash as hell. It is so slow. It doesn't have that good of customization, doesn't have that good of looks. The top speed is weak as hell, acceleration is weak as hell. The handling is okay, actually. I'm not gonna lie, the handling is okay. That's probably because it tops out at about 90 miles per hour, it feels like. So of course it's gonna be able to handle. What car can't go around a corner at 90, you know? The Taipan though, garbage. This thing is so disappointing. I remember buying this when it first came out. Man, regret instantly. Sold that shit the same day. It's trash. Taipan is garbage. Just L vehicle, to be honest. Now, number 6, we have the weaponized Kanata coming in at $3,385,000. This thing is the worst version of the Buzzard in literally every single way except for one. It's faster than the Buzzard. Other than that, it is just a Buzzard that is twice as expensive. It makes no sense. It doesn't really have that much better armor. It is upgradable in the hangar, so that is like a plus, but that also just means it costs more money to be able to make it like any sort of, you know, good. So that's trash. It's just not a good helicopter. In no way does it outperform the Buzzard other than speed, and who really cares? I mean, a Buzzard's fast enough, right? And the miniguns on the weaponized Kanata are garbage, whereas on the Buzzard they're insanely good, and it has the exact same missiles. So it's basically a Buzzard with worse guns that's just a little bit faster. I will say it does, actually I was gonna say it looks better, but no, it doesn't. You can put liveries on it and stuff though, and color it and all that, so that is a bit of a bonus, I guess. I think you can recolor the Buzzard though. Yeah, you can if you just bring it in the hangar. So never mind, this shit's trash. The weaponized Kanata, like literally double the price of the Buzzard, and not even really any sort of an improvement other than the speed, and then the guns are just a regression, so it sucks. Weaponized Kanata's trash. Get the hell out of here. Now, next up at number 5, we have a double whammy. We have the Overflawed Tyrant coming in at $2,515,000. Now, I said the Taipan was big as hell. This thing is big as hell, man. This thing is insurgent size, like not height wise obviously, but like footprint. This shit is massive, bro, and for no reason. Why is it so big? This shit is like a mid-size SUV, maybe a large SUV, but in a supercar format. It just doesn't make any sense. Speaking of that, it's also trash as hell because it has engine resistance, the same as the Cheval Taipan. And the customization on a $2.5 million car, this thing is garbage, bro. It's got like a spoiler option and like bumper, skirt, and I think that's literally it. Oh, and it has a bonnet option as well. But the Tyrant, super garbage. Super garbage. For $2.5 mil, complete L vehicle. Awful. Absolutely awful. To double up, we got the Overflawed Entity XXR coming in at $2,305,000. We got a double whammy at number 5. The Entity XXR is also part of the After Hours DLC, I'm pretty sure. Also has engine resistance. However, I will give the XXR a little bit of benefit because it does have quite a bit of customization. And with Rockstar sort of almost maybe slightly fixing the engine resistance issue, the Entity XXR, you don't feel it nearly as much as you do on like the Tyrant and the Taipan, for example. It's still trash, don't get me wrong. The XXR is just a little bit better. It's got a little more customization. It looks better too. It's normal sized. In fact, it actually might be a little too small, to be honest. But regardless, both of these vehicles are huge disappointments, and I'm not a fan of either of them. They've kind of ruined the Overflawed name for me. And then Rockstar went and they literally copy pasted the Entity MT's performance based off of the XXR, so it's slow as hell and costs about the same amount of money, but it does look better. But anyway, that's besides the point. That thing's not on the list. Let's talk about number 4. Number 4, we have the Pegasi Tesseract coming in at $2,825,000. Some guy commented and said, Harm, I hope you're going to include the Tesseract on this list for once, because you say you hate it so much and you don't ever talk about it. This vehicle has made it on every list of vehicles I don't like, vehicles that are disappointing, vehicles I hate, vehicles that suck. Like, you name it, if it's negative, the Pegassi Tesseract is there, because this shit is hot garbage. I don't care how old you are and how many seasons of Fortnite you've played. The Tesseract is trash, and its futuristic looks that all these Fortnite kids like, I don't care. This shit is garbage, bro. It's also electric, which is like double L, to be honest. It is pretty quick in a straight line, but the second you try to go around a corner in the Tesseract, it's wraps, bro. You're gone. You got the McDonald's trays and the wet paper towels wrapped on the tires. Tires are made out of wood and maybe a little bit of cardboard, you know, a little fusion sort of action going on. The Tesseract is so shit, man. It is so trash. $2.8 million and it can't turn. That's crazy. That's crazy. Also, terrible customization on this thing as well. I will say, I do think that the I think it's the shocks on this thing that are like lit up. They're like glow in the dark or some shit. And same with the stock wheels. That's like kind of interesting if you're 12, but I'm not, so it's pretty lame. Overall, the Tesseract is a trash ass vehicle. It's super disappointing. Never buy it, please. And for those of you who are about to say, well, I have 1,000 billion trillion million dollars because I modded my cat. I don't care. No one cares. Buy your Tesseract and shut up about it. We don't want to hear about it, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And number 3, we got the police riot coming in at $3.6 million to $4.8 million. Now, unlike the police cars that came out with this, the police riot is just so useless. You buy it and you can't customize it at all. There's nothing you can do to it. In fact, you might as well just go and steal one from the police station. You can either go to Sandy Shores police station, or you can go to that police station near the beach right across from the agency. That's where you just go and get a police riot and you save yourself $3.6 million if you have the trade price, at $4.8 million if you don't have the trade price. This shit is so overpriced, so expensive, and so garbage. Huge disappointment. I bought this thing. I was like, man, I can't wait to cut, and instantly just regret filled. And you can't even sell it either. It's so garbage. It's so garbage. Please don't get scammed into buying the police riot. That shit is trash. And as promised, Wednesday's video has arrived. If you saw the Halo manhunt the other day, the HVY Barrage is up next at number 2. This thing goes for $1,595,000 if you have the trade price, to $2.1 million if you do not have the trade price. The Barrage is so garbage. It's glitched. It's terrible. It does have a good amount of customization, I will say that. But it's, you know, supposed to be this like armored vehicle, like a light armored vehicle sort of thing. It can take like 5 RPGs, which, like, don't get me wrong, it's not terrible. It's like better than most Imani tech cars, but it's still not very good. It does have these dual machine guns that you can put on it as well, which is kind of interesting. Like, it's an interesting looking vehicle, but the performance is so disappointing. Because it's light, you would think it'd be like a little faster. Literally, I swear the Insurgent is actually faster than the Barrage. On top of that, the Barrage just gets thrashed by vehicles. If you saw the Halo manhunt, this thing was just getting tanked all the time. And I understand, obviously, you're not really getting attacked by scramjets all the time when you're in online. But if you got hit by an Insurgent or whatever it may be, this thing's going to flip over. And then for some reason, the wheels like clip into the ground with the Barrage, causing it to get like extra stuck on its side and on its back and shit, and it's so annoying. You can't flip it over very quickly. It doesn't have that much armor. It's not a good vehicle, especially for how much it costs, considering you can get an Insurgent pickup custom for less. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. The Barrage is definitely very overpriced, and it is certainly a disappointment. And then at number 1, we have another HVY vehicle, and this is of course the Menacer, coming in at $1,775,000. It's just a worse Night Shark and a worse Insurgent, and a worse Insurgent pickup custom, to be honest. And maybe even a worse Barrage, because it's supposed to be this vehicle that it just isn't. It's an armored, you know, APC sort of thing. It's very similar to the Insurgent. It has the top mounted gun, except the driver also gets access to a front mounted machine gun, which does trash damage. It's similar to the Night Sharks, but it costs, you know, almost $2 million. It has no ground clearance as well, so it's just going to bottom out on everything off-road, which you'd think for a military vehicle like this, you'd want to be able to take it off-road, up mountains, you know, whatever, but you can't. And it's just garbage. It's just a worse Insurgent pickup custom in every single way. It's slower, it's uglier. It does have a little more in the way of customization, but who really cares? Because it's still a trash ass vehicle, and you're not buying this for the customization, you're buying it for the functionality, and there's little to no functionality, especially in comparison to other vehicles like even the APC, the Kanjali, as well as the Insurgent Pickup Custom, the Night Shark, the regular Insurgent. It's just trash, and it is certainly a disappointing vehicle. Thank you guys for listening to my rant. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, like is of course appreciated. If not, dislike. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new and you want to see more content like this or anything else that I make, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.